only thing we have to fear is fear itself. Nameless, unreasoning, unjust. King Kong ain't got shit on me!
Welcome back to another episode of Live from the Plantation. I'm Spartacus 2.0, a.k.a. Jerry Metcalf, and with me, as usual, upstairs across the gallery on his own prison phone is Lucifer 777.
What's good, buddy? What's good with you?
Not much at all. Today we're going to be doing an episode on the drug epidemic in American prisons. But before we get started, Seven, why don't you tell or ask our listeners to go vote for us for the little XV, the Red Zone thing.
Yeah, we got the awards popping off. XV3 awards. You can go to the YouTube community channel and see how it's set up and stuff like that. Vote for Live from the Plantation, man. Whatever she got on there, vote for us. Make sure y'all only vote for us. Nah, don't be doing that.
We want to win.
Yeah.
We want to win.
We want to win. So all of those should go to us. I don't give a fuck if you like other videos. You comment, but just vote for us.
That's right. In whatever category we're in, we just heard about this. We don't even know what categories we're in, but we expect to win.
Nah. We should be at all of them. Goddamn.
Yeah, I would think so. All right, let's move on back to the fucking drug epidemic in American prisons, which is horrible, by the way. What you got to say about that shit? I know you got something to say, something interesting.
And it's not funny, right?
No.
The drug epidemic, especially the ones that's, and I hate to say it, but they need to do it more, right? Because it need to be a problem. It's not as urgent as it is in other states. You know what I'm saying? As it is, like, you know, for Michigan, it's not as urgent, right? You got people, we have an average of 6 overdoses a week in here. Right?
That's crazy.
These guys smoke this, and it's not as bad, right? Because they coming from the streets with a drug problem, right? Now weed, it's okay, right? But all this other shit, all these other concoctions and stuff like that, these synthetics, they drop it like flies on a summer day, bro. I'm telling you.
Yeah. Hey,
I'm telling you,
I watch
man,
them walking around,
bad.
and they look like White Walkers from the Game of Thrones and shit.
For real though, for real, man, for real, bro. They dropping on the floor, they shaking and stuff like that. They flopping like fish. You know, they seeing dead people and Jesus at the same time. I don't know what's going on.
Yeah. You know, I do suicide watches here at the plantation, and several times these motherfuckers, several times a month they get to smoking that shit, and they get to talking to God and thinking they need to kill themselves and all kinds of crazy shit, man. I watched them dudes. They're literally out of their fucking minds. Whatever that shit is they're doing, shit is horrible. Fucking horrible.
Yeah, it's serious. And you know it's serious to the point to where, like, bro, they regulating the wrong shit, right? It's really, really serious. Somebody fell out for a heart attack, and they gave this man Narcan. That's how you know, like,
They don't know what the fuck they're doing.
They don't, right? But that's the thing, though, right? The first thought in their mind is, oh, he OD, right? Fuck everything else. He OD. So that's how you know it's a serious problem. Was the first thing you got. This motherfucker his leg probably broke. They hit him with the Narcan. So that's the first thing that they think about when they come up here, right? So, you know it's a problem, man. And they not even,
How much of that Narcan shit you think they use a day? I bet you they use that shit 4 or 5 times a day.
Man, they probably got a surplus of that shit somewhere.
Yeah.
Big ass warehouse of that shit, man.
Horrible. Listen, one of my things is, right, I think the biggest problem, I never blame. To me the system is always at fault. And I know that might be,
it is.
You know, I'm biased, but to me, the system is always at fault. And one of the biggest problems is that there's just not enough help for drug addicts in prison. You know, insane. Like, they should be having, like, for instance, I facilitate. I run a substance abuse class on Saturday mornings, right? And it's filled up, and I got 100 people waiting to get on the list to get in there. So that means there's 100 people want to be helped, simply can't find it. We should have classes and meetings and things that people should be able to go to every single day in every single prison in the United States. Idea
But
of
that's too much like right,
warehousing
bro.
people.
Yeah. That's too much like right, bro.
I mean, but that's what we're fighting for here is right.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah.
Doing wrong
finish it, and I'll finish that. Yeah.
It is just so fucking hard. And on top of that, right, the biggest problem, like you remember, for years and years and years, for decades, they blame us for the drug problem. They always blame us.
Yeah.
By they, I mean the system blames us, say it's our fault. It's your own people bringing the smuggling stuff through the visit room. Well, we learned during the pandemic. Yeah, it's bullshit. So during the pandemic, they did away with visits. We didn't have visits for almost 2 years. No visits, none at all, none. And then they changed our mail policy to where we don't get mail anymore. We don't physically. If you mail me a letter, I do not get that letter. I get a photocopy of that letter. So if there's no visits and there's no mail for 2 years, and we had the worst drug problem in our prison system in history during those 2 years, then how the fuck are those drugs getting into the prisons? Trust me, it ain't us. It's their fucking employees.
It ain't us. It ain't us at all. And y'all bringing it in.
Like we're supposed to police that shit. It's not our job.
Yeah.
Now listen, as a community, we will help. We will help as much as we can, but we can't stop they have to stop that. It's on them to stop the inflow. We can't stop the inflow. All we can try to do is help with the consequences of that inflow. We're doing our best.
Right. We're trying. We can't do too much. And they sick. They have a drug problem. They sick. So y'all need to tighten up. This is a correctional facility. Y'all making this shit worse. We come here to correct our behaviors. Yeah. So, I mean, it's a problem.
Oh yeah, it's definitely a problem. And it's not just a problem. It's a problem across our entire nation. Now, some states do it better than others, but none of them do it well. None of them deal with this problem well. And I get it. There's a drug problem in the world. That's fine. But the world, you can't. There's not a big giant wall around America. Even though some people want that, it doesn't exist. So you're never going to keep drugs completely out of America. But come on, man, you can keep them out of American prisons. You're in a bubble here.
It's
literally,
simple.
The place has a wall all the way around it.
Four of them,
not stop that.
Right. It's crazy.
I'm going to have to call back. Gina's
about
to cut us off.
Yeah, I got you.
All right, we're back. We was, obviously we have to take the break whenever Gina hangs the fucking phones up on us. We're talking about drug epidemic in American prisons. Got something I want to add to 7. Drug epidemic in American prisons is a direct result of drug epidemic in the free world. Because people out there, they're hooked on drugs, any kind of drugs. In our society, I was just talking to Portia about this before we started recording. Our society treats the poor drug addict different than they do the wealthy or the famous. Like the movie stars and famous and the rich and the wealthy, we always see when they get high and get in trouble, what happens? They go to the Malibu rehab or an island or someplace pretty, and they sit around campfires and talk about their problems, and they get well, right? But the poor person here in America, what happens to them? They get to go to a fucking American prison. They go to the plantation where they can be a slave and they can fucking toil for years on end over a fucking disease. because that's what it is. It's a disease. Every doctor in the world acknowledges it's a disease. Every psychologist acknowledges it's a disease. So if you have cancer, they're not sending you to fucking prison. And but we're, we live in a fucked up nation. So our plantations are fucked up too.
Yeah.
I wanted to add that shit in. So what do you got to say about that?
I mean, that's a valid point, bro. That's a valid point. You come from the world with that disease, escaping your reality, right? And once you in here, you and I can attest to this. Once we in here, right, we try to escape this reality as much as possible, right? With the hobbies that we do, with, participating in this, this glorious thing that Portia just, erected for us. So we trying to escape it. We trying to touch the community as much as possible. So they do the same thing that they was doing in the world, in here, trying to escape this reality too. So you don't have a safe haven, a paradise you can go to be like, all right, well, I admit that I have a problem. Who gonna help me out with this? Because you need a community.
That's right. It's absolutely correct.
You know what I'm saying?
It's like you and I. It's like you and I going to AA, right? Seven and I, we go to the same AA. We go together. And like for me, first 10 years of my bid, I stayed drunk. Shit, I might have been drunk the whole time. I can't remember half that shit. But it wasn't until I went to AA, and I didn't go because like, oh, I got to get better. I went because my lawyer says, hey, you should go. If we get you resentenced, you need some shit that looks good. So I started going to AA to try to pad my, my file with some paperwork that looked good. But thankfully, I met Ernie Fisher, man. My guy. I talk about him all the time. My AA sponsor, my mentor, the dude that showed me the way. Guy that used to come up here and volunteer 28 years of straight. I think he came up here and volunteered for AA. But anyways, that helped me, and I continued to go, and I've been going now since 2006. Shit, so we're rolling on. We're getting close to 20 years. But the thing is, take that AA meeting, right? There's only like 20 people in it, and it's only one time a week. And that's all they've ever had, and I've been in it all that time. So we have every prison in Michigan has at least 1,000 people in it, and they got one AA meeting a week. Come on, that shit ain't fucking open. And of course now, now me and Nicholas X, we run another one. We run one on Saturday, but there should be one every day. There should be one in the morning, the afternoon, and the evening, every single day. American prisons. Because there's plenty of people in here who want to help themselves. Like I said, we have 100 people deep waiting list. So if there's, we have 1,200 people here with 100 people, that's 10% of the people are at least trying to get better right now at this moment. They want to get better. The system itself isn't contributing because obviously most people on the plantations here in America are poor. They're poor, and nobody really gives a fuck about the poor, and they don't want to allocate the funds for the poor. They'll put that money towards all kinds of crazy shit around here. They'll replace, they'll spend money on the dumbest shit. They'll buy new fucking equipment and all that shit every fucking year, but they won't put the money into rehabilitating people, especially drug addicts. And the revolving door is what? Who comes back the most?
Drug addicts.
Drug addicts. That's right. They come in here. They don't get better. They're getting high off of the fucking dope that the motherfucking that the master's fucking people are supplying, making them rich, and then they go back out with the same fucking problem, and they get high and either kill themselves or they hurt somebody or they break a law and come back. So it's retarded. I mean, not sorry that I said retarded, but it's crazy insane that happens. Because when we have them here, we could help them to get better, and we would stop the cycle. We could break it. It's insane to me. We allow that to happen. It's crazy insane.
Definitely. I mean, you can see where they mind at, right? You can see where they mind at. They only let you in substance abuse at your earliest release date, right? So you have roughly 4 to 6 months to cope with your problem, admit that you have a problem, and try to fix it within 4 to 6 months, and then they're kicking you back out. But you'd have been here for 10 years. You'd have been here for 5 years, 2 years, when you could have been working with your problem that whole time until the day you left.
Yeah. The
And
whole,
it's crazy. So that, it's not a priority.
Hit it. That's right. And they have no way of figuring out, like, I'm in prison for murder, right? Shot a dude with every bullet in the clip of a gun. I'm in prison for a horrible murder. And do you know, they tell me that I, a person who's in prison for murder, don't need any type of violence prevention, or I don't need, like group therapy, or, like all those things that you should be trying to rehabilitate people over. How do you not have a murderer going to some type of violence prevention program, or you know what I mean? I don't know what they call them nowadays, because they change the names every couple of years. What do they call it?
VPP.
Is that
VPP.
violence prevention?
Yeah. Program.
Right. Violence prevention program. So how could you not want me to go into that? Granted, thank God that I've, rehabilitated myself. What if I hadn't? You think society would want every person that's come with violence to go into some type of violence therapy, and again, they make you wait till you're 4 or 6 months out. So if you got a 30-year bid, you're going to do 29 years and 6 months before you get any help for whatever whatever your emotional wreck is. Same thing with drug addicts.
Look at that, bro.
Drug addicts
That's
get a
crazy.
10-year bid. They're going to do 9 years and 6 months before they get to go into the state-sponsored substance abuse therapy class, which really, come on now, they just tell you all the answers and they pump you through that fucker just to get you out and
try to get you out. Yeah.
It's not like going to like a 12-step program where you can really help yourself. That shit is just a bunch of bullshit.
And it's crazy, right? They try to pump you out, and you try to get yourself pumped out of shit because you're so anxious to get back to the world to do the same shit that you was doing to get you back.
They're just sitting in there fucking rubbing their hands thinking, oh, man, I'm going to go out and get a crack rock or heroin or meth or whatever the fuck, fentanyl, whatever the thing is they do nowadays. They're thinking about that shit because they'd spend all these years in here with nothing to do but think about that shit because nobody helped them. Anyways, Seven, we're out of time. What do we do here live from the plantation?
You break the chains, my dog.
Right, breaking the motherfucking chain. Today we just happen to be breaking over the drug epidemic in American prisons. The plantations are full of that shit. Slave masters pushing that shit, and everybody's buying that shit. Take us on out.
You know it. Hey, once again, man, please, y'all, both of us. Matter of fact, I ain't even ask y'all nicely. Both of us. People's Choice. XV3 Awards. Live from the plantation. Vote for us, man. Y'all family now. We familiar. Ain't no pleasantries. Go vote. Get out. Love y'all.